Hello Year 4, welcome to our last English lesson. So until this point you've been doing lots of writing. So we did the 3 paragraphs for the story that we're going to write at school based on Job's happy ending within the Lost Happy Endings. So now that you've finished your writing, the next step is of course editing. So we're going to look closely at the success criteria and decide what we need to change. Okay, let's have a look. So today we are assessing and we are editing. So assessing means going back through, checking with the success criteria that you've used everything that you were asked to use. Editing means going back through again, but this time making any changes that you need to make that piece of writing even better. So they go hand in hand really. Now, here is our success criteria. It's the same one we've sort of been using throughout this piece of writing. So sentences that start with capital letters and end in full stops, because this is a must. Okay, we have to be doing this. So check that all your sentences have capital letters at the start of them and that they don't run on for far too long. Okay, expanded noun phrases with commas. Remember, adjective, comma, adjective, noun. So you need a comma in between those two adjectives. For example, the cruel, comma, monstrous witch. Okay. Front adverbials with commas for the start of sentences. Remember, we were using adverbials of time and of place. So it could be deep in the dark forest, comma, or earlier that afternoon, comma. So time and place with a comma after it, and then carry on the sentence. And finally, direct speech with inverted commas on a new line. So it should be something like, open inverted commas, the thing that's said, a piece of punctuation, comma, exclamation mark or question mark, closed inverted commas, and then the said bit, all of which is on a new line. Okay, it's a lot, so let's see what you've done. Now I'm going to show you a piece of work in a minute. It's from a child in Madroño. It's a really good piece of work, and we're going to look at doing what I'm asking you to do using that piece of work. So I'm going to model it for you, and then you're going to have a go. Okay? Okay, so this is the piece of work that I'm going to use. I'm going to go through this and I'm going to look for those things on my success criteria in this piece of work. So I'm looking for capital letters and full stops. I'm looking for expanded noun phrases. I'm looking for fronted adverbials, and I'm looking for direct speech, all of which is used correctly. I'm also looking for any mistakes or problems that I can then change. There should be some of those because we're all still just learning. So let's go through. It was a cold, comma, gloomy night, and the witch was in her dark, comma, smelly cave. Earlier that day, the cruel, comma, nasty witch had taken a sack from a terrified little girl named Jub. She excitedly peered into the sack, hoping for something evil. She was horrified to find that it was full of worthless, disgusting happy endings. Yuck, flibbery gibber! I can't use these, she cried, chucking them into the fire. Now, this is a lovely piece of work. I'm going to go through it and look for those things that I've said. Now, I definitely heard some expanded noun phrases, so I think I'll start there. So I've got, it was a cold, comma, gloomy night. Now, there's an expanded noun phrase correctly used with a comma. Cold, comma, gloomy night. So there is my expanded noun phrase underlined. I'm going to keep going. And the witch was in her dark, comma, smelly cave. Now, that's another expanded noun phrase. So I'm going to underline that as well. Just make this a little bit smaller like that. It's really helpful if you can use blue because we use it in class. It's not the end of the world if you don't have one. Any kind of colour is fine for this. Okay, adjective, comma, adjective, noun. Earlier that day, now. That's an example of a fronted adverbial, isn't it? Because I've got a time at the start of a sentence. Earlier that day, it's telling me when something happened. However, I am missing something. I am missing a comma. So in blue, there, I'm going to add that comma in. Can you see how that's in blue? So I'm editing. And then I'm going to underline that fronted adverbial because I have used it. There we go. Perfect. Earlier that day, comma, the cruel, comma, nasty witch. There's another expanded noun phrase there. I would underline that. Again, I would keep going through and through and through, trying to find everything correct that I've used and correcting anything that I haven't used. Okay? I'm going to stop there because you need to get on with it now. So you need to go through and underline any of the things from the success criteria that you can find. If you find mistakes, missing capital letters, or missing commas, or maybe you find that you haven't used any expanded noun phrases at all, go back through and edit and make sure those things are done correctly. Okay? Any problems? Let us know. Good luck.